get to the major leagues. And when I'm with the Twins right now, and it's a lot of kids won't ask the question. Like I always ask questions. I don't even understand how you're young and you don't ask that question to somebody that's been there, done that, and you
Right.
not even there yet.
Right.
We're starting to see that. I'm pretty sure when I came up, somebody probably said the same thing about my group, but I can't believe I'm saying it because I was the one that said, "So what's going to happen in this pitch? What should
Right.
I do with this hitter? I mean, with this
Right.
pitcher? How should I play over here? What should I do with my money? What should I what?" You know, I had so many
Yeah.
questions, and one reason why I like Mike Trout, he was one of those guys. Out of all the guys I've talked to, you know, over my years, Mike Trout asked 1,000 questions. He was
Mm.
like, "Are we there yet? Are we
Yeah.
there yet? Are we there?" You know, he was one of those guys. I come to the stadium, he's sitting in the locker, you know, waiting for me to get dressed right next to me. I'm like, "Dude, I gotta pull my pants down right now. You know, can you turn your head?"
Yeah.
I gotta
That's
change
fun.
clothes, man. You know, and
Yeah.
and Trout was definitely, that's why he's, you know, one of the best ever. He asked questions to anybody. I didn't care who it was, but he was right there next to me when I was there with him 2 years.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that I tell a lot of the young kids coming up, and a lot of the kids like trying to get into that professional realm or college realm, whatever it may be, is like, don't be afraid to ask questions. Like there's people out there that can help you because they've already had the experiences. So like take advantage of that. I don't know if it's like a man thing or whatever, but sometimes like we think that we do know it all and that we don't need somebody's help. But the most successful people, players, athletes, like they go and use resources to figure out what they need to get better at. And that's what I found is like really important.
Yeah, it's very important to utilize the resources you have, especially as a baseball player. If you got resources, if you're in Cincinnati, you got Barry Larkin coming in. If you're in Oakland, you got Ricky Henderson coming in. You know, Jim Thome in Cleveland. If you got
Yeah.
guys that's coming into that clubhouse, don't sit there and say, "I don't want to talk to him. I know everything." Go and
Right.
ask the questions you always wanted to ask, even if it's just a stupid question. There's no stupid questions because baseball will humble you in a stupid situation.
Yeah.
so
That's
so
true.
and you and us, me as a of 20 26 years I've been in professional baseball. I'm still learning.
Mm.
Still learning. I see something new every time I watch the game.
It's crazy. I saw something new every time when I went over to Korea. I saw all types of new things when I went over there. So
It's different.
it's different. So you just never know.
Right.
A- as like people see all the accolades and the awards, and sometimes they miss like the struggles and the hardships that come along with really being a professional athlete. What was the toughest thing for you about being a professional Major League Baseball player?
Man, that's a good question. Of being a professional baseball player is not knowing, you know, early on, what's your identity, you know,
Mm.
because the media portray our identity as this guy who's flamboyant, everybody wants to be around, and different things like that. It was tough for me to find that identity. But once I learned after 2 or 3 years, I learned not to play for the applause,
Mm.
you know, because I'm hot. I'm hitting, boom, homers. I'm doing everything. The media's talking, the fans they're clapping, they're doing all these things. And then baseball is life. Life is baseball. Life, you go into a slump, right?
Mhm.
And when you go in a slump, people talk about it. Why are you there? You know, you're lacking, you're slacking, you're this and you're that. And then in baseball, they say you suck. You
Mm.
know, go back to AAA. Different things like that. And
Yeah.
and your emotions are going like this. You're feeling good. Your chest is built up, and
Start
then
pumping
when you're
up.
doing well, but when it's bad, you know they bring you down. You're like a king who lost his men, and he has no men. The king is walking by himself, and
Yeah.
I had to learn to not do that. After a while, I played the game. I couldn't even hear the applause. I couldn't hear the boos. I'm like, what I'm going to do to you, and what you trying to do to me.
Yeah.
That's it got quiet in my head, and that takes time. I'm not saying it's going to happen over time, but I can tell you, don't play life for the applause
Yeah.
for other people. Do the right thing. Do what you need to do in baseball. Don't play for the applause. Play the game and do what you need to do, because one day the applause is not going to be there. then how you gonna transition into life?
Yeah, that's a good point too, and that kind of transitions me into my next question. Like, what does success look like for you now that the playing days are over and you've kind of moved on to a new career and doing some different things? What does success look like for you now in this stage of life?
Um, I had some success in Major League Baseball, but to be successful, I think is an ongoing situation. It never stops to the day you die, And some people look at other people and say he's successful. I'm not successful. I'm gonna die empty. And
Mm.
and that's what I'm trying to give it all. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
Yeah,
full at all. And so it's just I want to give it back to, in society. When I grew up, where I grew up, maybe it's from my pain. But where I grew
mhm.
up, I heard there was not a lot of jobs. We can't get a job. It's this and that. So I'm like, what's the solution? Well, the
Yeah,
solution would be how can you create teams to help you create jobs in
right,
business? So that's what
right.
I'm trying to do in life. Business is not hard. It's like going through the minor leagues and, you're going uphill and then that happens. You can get there, or if you make mistakes, you can slide back down that hill. But I definitely think that success for me is just find a solution in the world and try to cure it. And that's what
Yeah,
I'm trying to do. You can't get everybody, but if you can do your part, you
right.
can make this world better. And we got a platform, and I think Major League Baseball was just an investor into what my real dream of doing whatever I wanted to do. They invested into my dream.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too that you mentioned, talking about like you may not be able to touch every single person, but if you can leave a mark on somebody and leave an impact and use that influence and platform that you have, I think that that's one of the biggest things that you can do with this life that you have, right? Just like you said, being able to give back in some type of way and die empty. I'm gonna steal that one. That's a good one. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I really do like that. I'm looking at your final season numbers. This is more of a personal question for me. I'm looking at your final season numbers in which you batted 240, 22 homers, drove in 81 runs. You realistically could have kept playing if you wanted to. What made you say like, nah, I'm done. I'm good. I've done all I've needed to do.
It's two reasons. The number one reason is, I kind of was talking to my wife every day. She came with me to my son's graduate, went to college, and so she's with me almost every day, and um, I'm walking up the stairs, or I'm about to go to the stadium, but I always say go to the stadium or go to the ballpark, but I start saying go to work, and I start saying it a lot. I'm about to go to work. I'm about to
Mm,
go to work. I'm about to go to the job. I'm changing my language, which my mindset was changed because of the
huh,
words I was saying. And my wife said, you saying a lot of going to the job or you going to work. You never said that. And I
mm,
was like, I did, man. And then I started watching, and it was just the game, it got kind of fast for me. You
mm.
know, it was different. It was changing. You know, I watched the guys in the clubhouse. I really couldn't stand. We lost, and then people was on that Instagram in 5 minutes and laughing. We lost. We lost. I can't
Yeah,
believe you on Instagram laughing and showing pictures. So, and then I found myself policing the clubhouse and
yeah,
like, hey, 15 minutes after the game, if we lose, just wait, concentrate, have a conversation about what we can do better. We lose, I threw a party. I did a dance party with laser lights and smoke machine and bubbles, and we had masks. I ordered a whole bunch of masks for everybody, and we started dancing for every victory. And for that team, after every victory, we danced, and that kind of carried us over for a team that was almost like AAA in 2015. We almost went to the playoffs, and we
yeah.
missed it by the last day of the season.
I
And
remember. Yeah.
but it took so much energy from me, man, and I was done. And also just walking up the stairs in my house and my butt cheek locking up. My butt cheek locked up, and I'm like, why is my butt cheek locked? It's never happened before. Well, that was time to go.
Hey, for everybody that's listening, if you're an athlete, that's when you know it's time to give it up. That butt cheek start locking up, that glute starts giving you spasms, you're done.